Auto-escalating tasks look like this. You'll note the big orange icon with the information symbol. The only way you can complete an auto-escalating task that is tied to a module is to complete the module. You can't close it off like a normal task. You must complete the module. Auto-escalating tasks are very important. They apply to critical tasks and are applicable in two sections of PAT, modules and compliance. This is about modules. So for modules, how it works is this. If a module is not sat within a time frame, they expire. The time frames vary, but they're usually around 30 days. If they expire, your compliance metric reduces. Organisations commonly use this metric to ensure staff know what they claim to know and need to know. Expired modules and reducing compliance is not good. Often the compliance metric is tied to pay, bonuses, or used to support decisions around promotions because it's a strong measure of not only your knowledge in your chosen profession but also your reliability and trustworthiness to manage knowledge relevant to your role by yourself. As a general rule, you shouldn't allow your compliance metric to fall below 90% at any time. And a key reason for this is that low compliance indicates low knowledge, which is ultimately dangerous for the business. And that said, some modules are much more critical than just having a certification metric that shows a low compliance. For example, some health and safety modules affect everyone. Workplace bullying, sexual harassment, and even physical well-being, which is managed through things like manual handling training modules. Key staff, directors and officers of companies can be sent to jail if something goes wrong and they cannot prove they've provided training. This is particularly bad where the company has gone to the trouble of developing training material for the staff, but the staff have not bothered to use it. Even though they've been given every opportunity and the means to do so. Other critical modules may be procedural policy modules, where it's really important people who are employed in a role absolutely know how the company expects the people that they pay to do a job actually do the job precisely to a specification. This specification is often written into a customer contract, so it's key that the staff know exactly what to do, or they may be exposing the company to penalties. Their inability to follow procedures that have been painstakingly documented may cause the business to lose customers, which may result in restructures and redundancies, or even put lives at risk. So where the operational excellence section of PAT does a lot of the planning for you and lets you know what you need to do and when, and even sends you friendly reminders, it's largely based on trust. Trust that you will do the right thing and keep on top of your modules, and you should do this because the modules represent your role, your responsibilities, and we are remunerated for our role under our employment contract. However, where modules are chosen to have auto-escalation capability, really what the business is saying is it's not acceptable under any circumstances that the deadline for learning a module can expire and nothing happens. It's saying, we've been caught out before and heard the excuses, so just in case we've hired someone who can't be trusted, we're going to tell them to do the module and monitor them. We're past the ask nicely stage. How this works is a day after the module expires, if the module is auto-escalating, PAT fires off a task to the user. It's titled an escalating task, as you can see there. So the user knows how serious it is, and the staff member has 5 days to now do the module. If the user can't do the module within 5 days, they can use the deadline negotiation or task rejection forum. Now, this following part is really important to understand. Auto-escalating tasks are created in PAT as if they were made by your supervisor. In fact, they appear automatically in their to manage section, your supervisor's to manage section. In a similar situation without PAT where a supervisor was worried an employee might not get something done, they would be constantly monitoring them because the consequences of not getting it done were too important to ignore. And when they noticed it hadn't been done, they would then formally ask them to do it and record that request in their file. In this day and time where people are generally time poor, PAT does all that monitoring and follow-up on behalf of the supervisor and also records everything. So negotiating and rejecting these tasks when they appear is perfectly legal, and in fact it engages your supervisor immediately, and chances are you'll sort it out before it becomes an issue, which is absolutely the point. All you have to do is either complete the module or negotiate a new deadline within 5 days of receiving an escalating task. This protects your task integrity rating. If, however, on the 6th day, PAT discovers the task has not been completed, PAT recalculates your task integrity down and automatically raises another auto-escalating task for your supervisor. Now, your supervisor's task integrity to manage your compliance is now being measured, and they now have 5 days to sort it out. Because their order escalating task is assigned to them via PAT, as if by their supervisor, they can also reject or negotiate deadlines to protect their task integrity. However, if they fail to manage an outcome that requires you to complete the module within 5 days, which is the only way to actually complete an order escalating task, then PAT recalculates their task integrity down and automatically raises an order escalating task to their supervisor, where the process repeats until it eventually reaches the CEO. This is now quite serious, as your supervisor's performance has now been officially recorded as poor and will have follow-on consequences. And this is important. The task integrity metric is a measure of how well people can manage their commitments. It provides an accurate measure of trust and reliability. The key is you should never receive them, and if you do, you should quickly either complete the module, which will kill the task, or negotiate a new deadline to buy some time. And if needed, talk to your supervisor. Remember, it's an escalating task for a reason and can't be ignored.